It's been a bit chilly, so I haven't really been outside very much recording any of my videos. I've been in my apartment for a lot of videos more recently. But I decided to come out and I was like, you know what? I got the weekend off. If the weather's good, try and get outside and record a video. I forgot that it's cold, you know? So I walked out here and my hands were freezing. I'm like, maybe this was a mistake. But I ended up, there was a tree blocking the path, so I ended up getting some exercise in and sawing it. And that warmed me up. So now I have the energy and the warmth. You know, I don't know, maybe there's a little something in that, you know. Sometimes we feel unmotivated because it's just so cold, you know. It's like, oh, it's so cold, I don't want to do anything, right? But sometimes the act of doing something is what reinvigorates you to want to do more, right? So you're like, oh, I'm so lazy, I don't feel like I have the energy today. But if you just do something, right? Maybe it's like, oh, I don't want to write my essay today, you know. I'm feeling too lazy, I don't have the energy to write an essay. Well, then don't write an essay. Go make a painting or do a drawing, right? And doing that might give you the energy to feel like, you know what, maybe I could do a paragraph of my essay today. And then once you start doing a paragraph of your essay, maybe I could do one more, right? And then you just go into you feel tired, you know. I found that sometimes, like, I'll be like painting or I'll drawing or I'm making videos, and after a certain time, like, you know, I have a lot of energy, and then after a little bit I'm kind of starting to feel a little tired, and I'm like, I think it's time to call it. And when that comes, then that's it. Then it's all right. I made some progress today. We'll do it again tomorrow, right? And then, you know, you probably wake up tomorrow and you'll be like, oh, I really don't have the energy for it. Maybe tomorrow instead, right? But if you just go do something else that's not as difficult or may not take as much, you know, mental effort, then it kind of warms you up a little bit, and you're like, okay, you know what? Maybe I have it in me. So, you know, maybe I can make a little relation from that, because I wasn't going to record any videos because I walked out here and I was like, I'll just walk, you know, it's too cold. But you know, I warmed myself up a bit, and now I'm like, you know, I can make a couple videos. So I guess I wanted to share that. But it's still cold. So I probably won't be out here for too long. But it is a nice, beautiful, sunny day. And although it's very cold, you know, when you're in the sun, it's a little bit better. You know, it's a lot colder in the dark or the shade, you know. So yeah, we have like a storm that's supposed to be coming. Everyone's freaking out about it. It probably won't be very bad. I feel like when people make a big fuss about it, that's when it's usually not as bad as it's expected to be. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I hope we get a good amount of snow, because we've gotten a couple of snowstorms, but I just haven't gone out and played in them. And a part of me on the inside, like, weeped a little bit for the fact that I was like, yeah, I could go out and play in the snow, but right? And I just feel like that's, I don't know. I've done that with, like, going to the beach and things like that. And I really don't want to let the winter go by and not have gone sledding once, not made a snowman or anything like that. And this year we've gotten more snow than in, like, the past couple of years, I feel. And so for me to just not take advantage of it seems wasteful. And, you know, I am not a big fan of cold, but I think this year I've acclimated myself a little bit better to it because of going surfing in the cold. And so it hasn't been as bothersome to me as I feel like it's been in past years. And, you know, it's only here for a little while, and it's going to warm up again, and then there won't be any snow, so I want to take advantage of it while it's here. And I don't know. It's just a nice, quiet, sunny, calm day. And I knew I wanted to go outside today. And I knew it was going to be cold. And it is cold. And my toes are starting to freeze up and go numb a little bit. Maybe could have dressed a little bit warmer. but it's just it's nice. And I don't know if you can tell, but there was a forest fire that burned through these woods earlier this past year, and so a lot of this is all kind of burnt and dead. I'm not sure if you can see it though. Let me get closer. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Like all these burned up and they're dead, except they're not dead, right? The tops burned, but their roots remained, and so they've got new life springing up all over the place. And so even though all the trees and all the bushes and the shrubs got burned down to nothing, they still had something underground that was protected, right? So the tops got burnt, but they did not die. And I don't know, I feel like there's some beauty in that too. The whole forest got scorched, and yet life continues on. So maybe there's some hope there for us in the current state of things. I think the world becomes what you make it, and it's your action that makes things happen. It's not your thoughts. Thinking about good things and positive action is good, but saying and thinking about these things does not make a difference. It's actually taking action that makes the biggest difference. And so the more people that know, hey, things need to change, the more people can take action. And the more people that take action, the less work it is to act. And then all of a sudden things aren't as bad as they seemed. And everyone's better for it. I'm getting chilly. We'll see. I'm going to try and read a couple of these things, but yeah. I was thinking, this is just a random thing. I'm thinking I'm reading through the Tao Te Ching right now. I think what I'm going to do is after this, instead of rereading the Tao, what I'm going to do is I looked up some of the best poets and stuff, so I'm going to look into them a little bit more, and I'm probably going to do like a little mini book club and just do little readings of poems, probably get a bunch of try and get a bunch of renowned poets and read off some poems and stuff, or at least the ones that I thought were good. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll all be good. I'm not sure, but my plan is to get a bunch of books and stuff, because what I've found is that I'm just listening to an audiobook right now, and it's crazy how much wisdom is in this audiobook that is just in theory for fun, right? There's goofs, there's jokes, there's some lewdness to it and everything, and there's special powers and fighting and all these things, and at the same time the core principles of the Tao and things that I conclusions that I came to for myself are being openly discussed in this book. And I really like this series. It's Beware of Chicken by Casual Farmer, and it's just silly, but there's also just a lot of good life knowledge in there. And so I think it's fun to find wisdom in just the most I don't know, so one of the most absurd places, because a lot of people think, oh, I've got to study the Tao Te Ching is probably a good example of this. Oh, I got to read the Tao and I got to study it, and that's where true wisdom is. And if you just look around, there's so many people that the wisdom is not found in ancient texts. It's living, right? This is living wisdom. This is stuff that people experience. It's wisdom because it's truth, and it's truth because everyone lives it, experiences it, and comes to find it for themselves. And so everyone expresses their truth in different ways. And so that's one of the beautiful things about art, is because when you look at art, it's someone trying to portray the truth that they see in the world. And not everyone's truth is the same, and not everyone's is necessarily the best, I would say. Sometimes people are a little misled. They don't know exactly where they're going, and so they think that they know best, but they don't always do. But there's so much out there. You don't have to be doing these meditations and contemplating life for hours on end. Like, I never meditate. Like, I don't meditate because you don't need to. Meditation is whatever you want it to be. If you like painting, if you like drawing, if there's certain things that you do that, like, when you're creating, to me, there's a meditation there. And I don't think you need to you don't need to embody this idea of what enlightenment is or being spiritual is to be spiritual. And so you can have fun with it, and I encourage you to have fun with it, because I think that's what it's mostly about. And so, yeah, I'm starting to shiver a little bit. Ugh. Chilly. I don't know. Things are kind of crazy right now, but that doesn't mean the world isn't less beautiful. And if the world around you seems bleak, you're probably not looking in the right places. So, yeah. Peace out.